Hey guys, this is Justin. I go by the username Revvies, R-E-V-V-I-E-S, on the CLC forum. And this morning I'm going to show you a bit about my 1947 Cadillac. I've got a Series 62 sedan, which has its original flathead in it and has been converted to using a FiTech 2-barrel EFI system, which I believe is the first flathead Cadillac to get an EFI system, certainly a FiTech EFI, perhaps even in the world. So I'll show you guys what I've done, and I'll try to post all of the products that I used in this build in the description of this video. So real quick, welcome to my garage. This is my Cadillac. It's been through a pretty full restoration in the last 11 months. I got it 100% original, for better for worse. And for better for worse, it's no longer original. It's gorgeous. You can see yourself in this black paint. You can see my reflection in there. The interior is something else. Done by a company called Interworks here in Sarasota. The paint was done by Ashton Restoration in Sarasota, Florida. And a lot of the mechanical, if not nearly all the mechanical, was also done by Ashton Restoration. So real quick, I'll show you my engine bay here, and I'm going to ask for a little forgiveness before you see it. You'll notice that the air cleaner, the air filter, is not original on there. That's something I'm working through, sourcing a part to be able to put the original one back on. So we've got just kind of a generic air filter on there at the moment. But it does the trick. And so here real quick, I'll show you the engine bay. So right up in there is the main FiTech carburetor, if you can call it that, which is their new 2-barrel carburetor. Just came out a few months ago. Been working like a charm for me. On the driver's side, kind of tucked away underneath where the heater vents or the air vents would be, is what's known as the EC2 or Command Center 2, actually. And so that is essentially the secondary or auxiliary fuel pump that's used for this setup. And so you can kind of, taking a quick look around my engine bay, you can see it does have AC in it, which I live in Florida, and so I need AC. And so it had been previously converted to a 12 volt, from 6 volt to 12 volt electrical system. You can see an alternator in there that I got from Steve Passmore, which has been working really well. And then it also has Pertronix ignition system, which we've been using too. That bracket that's there right behind the FiTech, over the bridge in the header system, that's a custom fabrication from Ashton Restoration. If you want one, I'm certain they can make some more for you. We did that for heat barrier purposes, because the headers are so hot, and in my case I probably need to have them the porcelain redone, but because they are so hot, it was interfering with the electronics in the FiTech, and so we put that heat shield in there to help with that. So I'll tell you what, real quick, I'm just going to go in the car and start it up so that you can hear it. This is a cold start first thing in the morning. It's about 60 degrees outside, so a little cool for Florida. I just turned the key, and you can kind of hear the fuel pump charge up there. My foot is not on the gas. I will not be feathering it. I'm just going to use the push button here. Pretty spectacular, if you ask me. Okay, I'm gonna let that run. just kind of get warmed up today. I've got some driving to do today. I'm gonna walk here into my office and tell you a little bit more about the build. All right, welcome to my office. So in terms of key things to do about the build, like I mentioned, 2-barrel carb from FiTech. It's been great. Definitely get the Command Center 2. Do not get the Command Center 1 from FiTech. The original Command Center 2, the original Command Center had issues with overheating and component failures and things like that. It seems like the 2 has been a major step forward in their evolution. Again, that Command Center, all it's really meant to do is jump up your fuel pressure from the mechanical fuel pump, which I forget what that's at. I don't know, like 4 psi or something like that. Jumping it up into I forget. I think it's like near 50 psi or something like that the EFI needs. And so it's got kind of like a small little reservoir tank that it uses as it kind of builds up that pressure. And we mounted it under that vent. I'm sure there's probably a better place, a more elegant place to mount it. To be honest, that's working for me. And when I put that air vent on there, you really can't see it. So I don't hate that location. But those are the 2 components from FiTech that you'd need. Oh, they have they also have I'll include it as a small, I think $5 little part number for a little piece that that's used to put a return line back in your fuel tank. So you need a return line in your fuel tank. So that's those are the 3 pieces that you buy from FiTech. You also need an adapter from the intake to the FiTech carburetor. That's something they're different sizes, right? So the FiTech is sized for a Holly carb, a standard Holly carb, which is much bigger than our Strombergs. And so you need an adapter there. There's one that I found for sale on Jegs. I can put the part number in there, super easy, and that's how I kind of solve that problem. On the top side, you obviously saw I've just got a regular kind of air cleaner on there right now, Holly-sized air cleaner. Don't like that. It's really noisy. You're missing the muffler and all of the oil bathing that comes with the normal air cleaner. And so so I want to get that normal air cleaner on. I'm actually working with a local company to manufacture a silicone reducer on the top side. It's basically a coupler that would allow just to put, again, from that wide mouth Holly, the top of the Holly carb to our air cleaners. So check back with me on that. I'm going to manufacture at least one for me, and I'll if there's some interest here, I'll go ahead and manufacture some more for you guys. Then a couple of those kind of key things that we did. So you put there's going to be an O2 bung. You got to stick in the exhaust pipe. That's fine. Kind of drill and tap sort of thing. No big deal. I mentioned there's a fuel return line that goes back in the tank. Again, it's a pretty simple drill and tap sort of scenario, and no big deal. No, you don't have to create a custom tank or anything. The FiTech systems do require your fuel tank to have a vent to breathe, and we put that vent into the filler neck. Felt like that was probably the easiest and best place to put that in. I'm trying to think of what else. There's a control unit that gets wired into the car, into the interior. So I've got a display unit, it's touch screen, and that's where you set up your initial settings, which I'll include a link to where you can see all my settings. I just took photos of them with my phone, and you can use that as your default to kind of get started. I will say this: when we first put it in, we just put in the EFI and put in default tuning settings, and I started driving, and the car was overheating. I had already done a full-fledged waging war on that car relative to overheating. And so we'd done everything, you know, new radiator, new thermo, flush the block, like everything. We had done it all. And I was confident that the car didn't actually have an overheating issue. And really felt pretty confident it was the timing. And that in this new EFI setup, where, you know, the carburetor and the timing weren't playing a tug of war with each other, and really, you know, the way that EFI works is that it's gonna let the timing be what it will be, and then the quote unquote carburetor will just try to match it in terms of air to fuel ratios. And with that sort of setup, you know, the timing becomes really the lead partner in the dance, and mine was set too aggressively, so we had to dial it back. So anyways, just to FYI, after you put in the system, put in your, you know, your settings and all that sort of stuff, there will likely be some timing tuning, and we followed the conventional wisdom that I've seen on the CLC forums, which is to essentially you know, dial it back, and then tune the ignition up until you get knock, and then dial it back a few steps. That's ultimately kind of the wisdom we've used, and that seems to work fine. I do have I've noticed that the temperature sender that they use for this EFI system seems to run what I believe is higher. I know it's higher than what I read with an infrared. So on my EFI display, FiTech display, I'll get readings in the, I mean, it's when it's cold, but it'll get up to about 210 degrees Fahrenheit when I've been driving it around. But then I'll stick the infrared radar on you know, some of the hottest points on the water in the motor, and you know, it's like 185. So anyways, that tends to read a little bit higher. I do not presently have my my temperature, my coolant temperature hooked up to my dash gauge, and that's probably something I'll fix. There is I have a company I use for my dash gauge conversion. They're called Instrument Services. I think it's clocksandgauges.com. And anyways, they do the 12-volt conversions, but I need to give them different parameters for the EFI, because its resistance that it uses and its temperature sender is different than the range is different than the standard ones that we use for the stock gauges. So that's that. I think I'm gonna do a video. I'm out here. I'm gonna do a video on the 12-volt conversion real quick, and then maybe a little bit on the AC as well. So if that interests you, check out this channel for my other videos. Other than that, like I said, Ashton Restoration in Sarasota, Florida, were the guys that did all of this under my direction. They're fantastic. They're FiTech experts. They do a lot of Mustangs, so they've put this in a whole heck of a lot of Mustangs. They also they had done a four barrel version on I forget if it was a 50s or a 60s Caddy before mine. So so they certainly have experience with Cadillacs as well. And so if you have questions, or you know, want to get that heat shield over the bridge and the exhaust manifolds, or if you just want to have them do your install, Ashton Restoration, Sarasota, Florida, those are your guys. Asked to talk to Chris. So all right, guys, hope this video was valuable for you, and have a good day.